In this video, I want to show you how you can create hyperlinks inside Power Apps. We don't have a straightforward hyperlink control inside standard Power Apps controls, but there are ways around it. We can convert a text label to hyperlink, maybe a button to hyperlink, maybe an HTML text to hyperlink. And however we create hyperlink, how can we bring them inside a gallery or even a data table? This is going to be interesting. Let's see the video. Before we start adding a hyperlink to our Power Apps screen, let's understand what a hyperlink is. Hyperlink is a blue underlined text traditionally that when we move our mouse cursor on it, the cursor changes and indicates that it's clickable. So on hover, the mouse will change to something like this or anything else that shows that, okay, you can click here. And when someone clicks on it, something happens. So typically it launches a new web page or something like that. And speaking about launching a new web page, let's see how Power Apps, first of all, can launch a new web page. So let's understand the function launch. Launch function accepts a destination URL. If that URL requires some parameters, it accepts parameters. And finally, the target, whether you want to open it in the same browser screen so it replaces your app, or you want it to open a new browser tab or a new browser instance to show the target page. Let's start with the launch and see how it works. Now, inside my app in Power Apps, I've created a screen called SCI Hyperlink Demo. It doesn't have anything, so let's start by adding a simple button to test the launch function. So I can say search Google. And let me just make it bigger so that you can see it, and the font size is ridiculously small. So let's make it 25, for example. Better. I also want to change the name, btn Google search. Great. So when someone clicks on it, I can come back here and I say launch. The address that I want is going to be https://www.google.ca. And I just close the bracket, the simplest form of running this. So I just run this, and if I click on it, by default, it opens a new page and takes me to Google. But if you would like to automatically search Google for something, when the user clicks the button, now we are looking for parameters. So let's say if I search for toy drone, I can say Google search. And as you can see, it automatically creates a search string. The rest is from after this and is Google reference to track me. I don't care about that part, but all I need is whatever the statement is there, it is added as a parameter Q to this string. This is my URL. I copy this and I bring it here. There we go. And then the parameter that I need to add is a record. So I can say the parameter Q is whatever that I want to search. For example, toy drones for kids. All right, that's better now. And I can save it. See what happens when I search it this time. I close this guy to avoid confusion, run, and I click on this guy. Look at that. It automatically created the search string and everything turns out good. It added the parameter Q, and you can add more and more parameters to the end of it, depending on the requirement of your target website. And finally, the ugly one is the last parameter. So if I go to launch target, it can be new, which is a default. So by default, if you don't provide this parameter, it opens a new screen. But if you use replace, it completely navigates away from this screen, which I don't want because I'm in the middle of the demo. That's great. So hold on. We created a hyperlink here, which works perfectly. The only problem is that it doesn't look like a hyperlink, but we can easily make it look like a URL, just like this. Let me select it. I can make it smaller. The fill color is going to be blank. The font color is going to be blue. And I can simply underline it There we go. And the only thing is that the hover fill, I have to make it like color transparent. All right. So in this case, if I just move my cursor, oops, hover text also requires to be changed. All right. Hover text color requires to be blue again. And we are good. So if I run this, it's a blue underlined text that if I move my mouse cursor over it, the mouse changes. And if I click on it, it takes me again to a different screen. So I successfully created my first hyperlink inside the app. Now, this hyperlink is a lot more functional than the traditional links that we had on a web page, because when you click on this, you can fire commands or any other function inside Power Apps rather than just launching a new page. In this specific example, we tried to launch a new page. So far we transferred a button to something that looks like a hyperlink. But if you're one of those guys thinking, Ali, have you checked the modern controls? I guess we have a hyperlink control there. Well, let's take a look. Yes, I have looked into that. If I go to the setting and I look into upcoming features, and if I look into modern controls and turn on the modern controls and themes, we have a new set of controls called modern controls. And under that, if I look for link, you will find something called link, which is actually a hyperlink. So this guy, first of all, it's so tiny that you cannot see it here, but it does exactly what you expect it to do. You put a text, you put a URL, and it's supposed to do something, but don't get too excited. It's still one of those upcoming features, and the control development is so immature that in no form or shape I'm going to use it in any client app. So later on, if Microsoft makes it really better and practical to work with, most probably I will make a separate video for it. For now, I put it aside. Feel free if you want to play with it. As of now, we have much better options, which is called HTML text. So let's look for HTML text and see how this guy works. First of all, I can put it here and I can increase the font size to whatever I want. All right, I can expand it, and all of a sudden I have pure HTML. I can simply say, click here to go to Google, and I can simply convert this here to hyperlink. So ahref equals single quote www.google.com. And it's a good idea to include my protocol, https:// oops, and I need to close this hyperlink tag. Save. And just like that, if I run it, I can click on this here and it takes me to Google. And well, it didn't because I put 4 W's in front of it. That's not important. What is important here is that now I have full control over the style. I don't need to turn the entire text into hyperlink the way that I need to do it inside button, or even the link control that comes as modern controls. And I have full control over the style. So if for this hyperlink, I want to say style equals, and again, my single quote, I can say color is blue, for example. And all of a sudden, I have a classic blue color for my hyperlink. So far, as of whatever that is available, your HTML text is your very best shot to put a hyperlink the way that we mean hyperlink in any web development platform in our Power Apps. One more thing that people typically ask is that can we use a text label and convert it to hyperlink? No, not really. I can say click here, which is great. I can say make it underline, change the color to something that looks like a hyperlink. For example, my font color, turn it to like blue or something like that. And let me make it a little bit bigger. All right. As much as I want to say yes, you can put some code behind unselect event. This one, no matter what you do, when you move the mouse cursor over it, it doesn't turn into something like this that suggests it's clickable. It tells you that yes, it can be selected, but not clickable. So even if you can make it to act like a hyperlink, the UI is not that intuitive as you expect. And as of today, there is no way that you can change the mouse cursor when it goes over it, at least not in a straightforward way. There are tricks that you can go around, but that is cost you a lot more time and effort than simply throwing an HTML text and adding a hyperlink tag to it. All right, now let's take it to the next level and see how we can add these hyperlinks into a gallery. So for that, inside SharePoint, I've created a list called Amazon products, and I want to show them inside a gallery with the link that searches for these products inside Amazon. So let's do it this way. I come here and I can simply insert a gallery. I create a vertical gallery, great, and I can connect it to Amazon products. I've already added that link to the list of available data connections in this app. So I can come back here and I can say, sure, for the data source, pick my Amazon products. I don't want to show the image, title, and subtitle. I just want to show title. The rest doesn't really matter. So this is how it looks. Now, let me just expand this card a little bit. Gosh, okay. And let me just take this guy a little bit higher so I have some more space here to work with, and close this guy and make it a little bit larger. All right, now here I want to add a hyperlink. To do that, I can simply select this card and I go back to my golden control for this job, which is my HTML text. Here we go. For that, I can say shop on Amazon. But Amazon can be American, can be US, can be Italy, can be whatever the country that you want. For this one, I want to say shop on Amazon.ca. And I want the Amazon.ca be the hyperlink. So let's do it this way. I can put my hyperlink here equals single quote, whatever that is at the moment. I just put a hashtag here and I close this guy here with /a. I forgot to put a here. Great. So now if I just save it and run it, it looks like a hyperlink. Why is it so small? All right, let me make it a little bit bigger. Okay. Font size, make it 15, for example, and we are good. All right. So now when I run it, you will see I can click on this guy and it doesn't take me anywhere. But if I put Amazon.ca, it's going to do something. So http://amazon.ca. This is not what I want. I want the link to go directly to Amazon and search for this product. Now, inside Amazon, if I search for this product, I just copy and paste it. This is how Amazon works, pretty much like Google, right? But here, because we are using the HTML text, we are not using the launch function, so we can concatenate everything that comes after this and build our URL the way that we want. The rest, anything that comes after this and is just some additional information for Amazon to track me. I don't care. So even if I just get rid of it completely and just press enter, everything is good and it still looks up whatever that we are looking for. So let's put it this way. This is what I want to be my hyperlink. I can go back to my Power Apps and I can come back here and instead of Amazon.ca, I put this string here. Great. Now, after this K, I need to include the name of the product that I want to search for. So right here, I put double quote, and in between them, I put 2 ampersand sign, and whatever that I want to add as the search string, I add it here, which is going to be this item, which refers to the current item inside the gallery dot title. And if you really want to make it like Amazon, we want to replace all the spaces with plus. So I can come back here and I can say substitute in this string any spaces with plus sign. And I can close this bracket. Let me just expand this guy a little bit. I can format text so it looks good. So whatever the string that we have, it starts with this guy. Right after K, I add my search string, I close the bracket, and we're good to go. Let's see how it works. So let me just run this. I close this Amazon link. So if I want to look for Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra on Amazon.ca, I can click on this, and this is what I expect to see. Fantastic. So this way we can create a hyperlink that the target is dynamically coming from a SharePoint list in this example, or it can come from anywhere else inside a gallery. So gallery is easy. You can simply add another link here to shop on Amazon.com, Amazon. Whatever else the other country that you want. And this way you can expand your search area. So gallery is easy, but when it comes to data table, it becomes a little bit tricky. So let me just make this guy a little bit smaller to buy some space on this screen and see how we can do it inside a data table. Because as we know, data table only accepts string. You cannot add controls inside it. For this guy, I want to add a data table here. Let me just pull this one up. I can insert a data table. Add it. I can connect it to the same Amazon products. Oh gosh, it's complaining about attachments. I don't care about attachments. I just want the title to come here. Inside data table, you can add another column. I can click on edit fields and I just add another field. It doesn't really matter which field you pick. For example, I pick name, right? And I click on add. I don't want to hard bound this column to the field inside SharePoint. So first thing that I do, I go to advanced while this column is selected and I unlock it. As soon as you do that, it becomes custom field. Now we can go and play with it. First, I go to the properties and I say it is a hyperlink. And when you say it is a hyperlink, it doesn't really do anything. When you run it, nothing happens, but when you move the mouse cursor over it, it feels like a hyperlink, that it is clickable, and the color changes to match a hyperlink. So at least from the look perspective, it looks like a hyperlink. Now we can go and play with it. I can say for this column, the header text, let it be Amazon.com this time. And for the text that it's going to display, I want it to be a fixed text called shop online. Now, what it does when we click on it is nothing but an unselect event. So I click on unselect, and whatever I do here, it's going to happen when the user clicks on something. So just like before, I go to my launch function. The address is going to be Amazon.com this time. Exactly the same syntax. So I pick my URL, right? I don't need this K as a parameter because I'm using the launch function, and launch function beautifully handles the parameters. So I come back here and I put my URL here. Right after that, I need to add parameters. The parameters that we have is K. So I can say K, the value should be whatever that the product name is. So for this guy, I can say this item, and you're surprised that why it is complaining, why it doesn't show you any list of properties, because this item does not work inside the onSelect function of the data table. This one is a little bit of exception. Don't expect it to work like gallery. So what shall we do when there is no this item? Well, there is no this item, but we can always say data table 2, which is this data table, dot selected dot title. It's a little bit indirect, but that's how data table is. And then if you want to specify the launch target, there we go. Let's go for new. which is a default. It doesn't really matter if you add it or not. And I just close this guy. Now, if I just save it and run it, I can click on shop online for example, AA batteries on Amazon.com. There we go. If we click on it, we are on Amazon.com and we are searching for AAA batteries. The cool thing is that when you're using parameters, it automatically converts the spaces to plus and it generates a proper string that is URL friendly. And that was it. If you want to add more columns, then just go ahead and add more and more hyperlinks to it and keep on praying that Microsoft finally completes these upcoming features. So hopefully in the future, I can have a video about that hyperlink control that is part of the modern controls. All right. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, you know where the like button is. I really appreciate if today is the day that I can earn you as a new subscriber. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you soon in the next video.